Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio. Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play. Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, the podcast that explores the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. Wastelanders, Vault Dwellers, it is time for the Fallout Lorecast. Thank you for joining us again. Today is Monday, the 23rd of November, 2020, the year of our Lord. I don't know why I'm talking this way. And I am your host, Tom, or Robots, and we are here live on twitch.tv/robotsradio. It is 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I'm here with my regular co-host, Lainey. Lainey, what's up? How you doing?
Hello, I'm Lainey.
Hello, Lainey. Neos Pandora. Should I call you Neos Pandora or should I call you Lainey?
You can just call me Lainey. That's my name.
I'll call you by your name. That is kind of still a nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did the old man join the Followcast? Oh, let's see if the old man can join us. Oh, the old man, you called me. Yes, I'm here. Well, that's good. The old man's still here. Buddy Bot, he might take your job.
Oh no. Tell him to get out of here. I've got a job. I don't want to lose my job.
Okay, old man, you gotta leave. Buddy Bot is gonna lose his job. Anyway, man, this has been a wacky start. But we can't have both of them on the show at the same time. That's a little bit weird. Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast. It's too much. We have been digging into different settlements in the games. Last week, we talked about Megaton. This week, we're talking about the Underworld in Fallout 3. And we're changing some stuff up a little bit. You know how I started that game show thing? I put it out on the feed. People are enjoying it. They're having a lot of fun on chat. Well, on this show, after this episode, as we do this live, Lainey will be competing against you guys, against Twitch chat, to see if she's smarter than Twitch chat, and specifically questions about Megaton and settlers, the people in Megaton. That's what the focus of the quiz will be about after this episode is done. If you are interested in checking that out, it happens live on our Twitch channel right after the show. Also, if you are a patron, because it's the extended version of the show, it's what we do after the show, you will get access to it after the show. Also, instead of putting that on the feed as extra episodes, I just put the one on there. It's kind of a teaser. I'd like you guys to be able to join us live when possible so you can win some prizes and maybe also get this as a bonus for Patreon. But instead of doing that as the extra episode in between regular episodes, today I streamed and resurrected Captain Robots, the adventures of Captain Robots. And Captain Robots is back. That will be coming out in a few days after this episode drops. So you'll be getting in between episodes, hopefully every week, if I can get some Captain Robots episodes going, because I've had a lot of people asking for those as well. So I'm trying to crank stuff out for you guys. And on top of all of that, later on in this episode, we've got some really interesting news about some Fallout 76 stuff that we're going to discuss as well. So we've got so much to cover. Hopefully we can still do it in about an hour's time. And Lainey, why don't we get started? Why don't we get started with the Underworld?
Alrighty.
Actually, you know what? I kind of jumped the gun on this because Sea Captain just showed up in chat, and that reminded me of the thing I was prepping before the show. Check this out, guys. I'm turning it on right here. This is our new t-shirt on the store. Sea Captain did some wonderful artwork for the Children of Adam Megaton Chapters Spicy Bath. which we talked about in last week's episode, the water sitting around the big bomb. So you can get your own Fallout Lorecast. It's got a Fallout Lorecast symbol on the back of the shirt, and on the front of the shirt it says Children of Adam, Megaton Chapter Spicy Bath, and you can go check that out. Captain, I need to get your info so I can send you your free shirt for thanking you for doing the artwork, and it is now up on the store. So if you look for the link in the show notes or underneath the player, you can go check that out. All right, let's dig into the Underworld. Lainey, what is the Underworld of Fallout 3? For those of our audience who jumped into Fallout later than Fallout 3, what's going on in the Underworld?
So, in terms of what the Underworld is it's a community full of non-feral ghouls to live together in peace and not have to deal with humans, maybe treating them rudely for, who they've become.
Right. It's kind of like the Fallout 3 version of the Necropolis from Fallout 1. In that it's a place for these ghouls to feel safe and yet still separated from the rest of human society. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice, ghouls can live for a very long time, and this allows them to live together in peace instead of having to deal with whatever the wasteland has to hold. So in terms of what its purpose is, that's what it's there for. It's a ghoul community. But I think that the more interesting parts about it have less to do with that, even though that itself is incredibly interesting, and more to do with what else it consists of, where it is, what it looks like, the kinds of people who are in it. It goes beyond just its purpose. So in Fallout 3, in the Capital Wasteland in 2277, you have the National Mall, which it consists of things like the Capitol building and the Washington Monument and a bunch of museums. And so, in particular, the one that is relevant is the Museum of American History, which inside of it has multiple exhibits about different things in American history. And, these kinds of museums will go through exhibits where they'll have ones that are more permanent. They'll have ones that are just kind of random. Some of them seem more fleshed out than others.
Right. Sometimes they do change things out. And this is a kind of place that a lot of Americans and a lot of tourists to the United States have probably been to at some point in their lives, whether they were children on a field trip or adults taking their kids to go check out the museums and all the history of our country and those kinds of things.
I've been to this museum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. And especially from that perspective, if you've been to these places before, just like any Fallout game, it's so fun to get a look at them. So in this case, the outside of the museum is relatively intact, surprisingly. But the inside actually has been just destroyed from people scavenging in it, from the fact that it's absolutely full of feral ghouls. And so, deep within it, there's this nice little community, but on all the rest of it, it's a murder zone.
It's a murder zone. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of nice, though, for the ghouls. It kind of provides them protection, and the feral ghouls won't attack anything that looks like a ghoul. So they won't attack the non-feral ghouls living there. They also won't attack you if you're wearing your little ghoul mask, which is a fun aspect of the game.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys don't have a ghoul mask.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. The ghoul mask?
It's so cool. Yeah. You used to be able to pretend you were a ghoul just to get past, which is neat. So, yeah.
Which is neat, yeah. Which is kind of cool.
I just think it's nice.
It's just so nice. It's just so nice, everyone.
So it's a neat, right? So it's in a museum. There are other exhibits, but they're all pretty dilapidated at this point, and they're full of ghouls. But the Underworld is an exhibit that pretty much just focuses on different depictions of the underworld, different depictions of hell, different depictions of what that would be, right?
Right.
And it's interesting. It has lots of things in it about the topic. So there's actually within the city you can find pieces of art that are real pieces of art. So there's two in particular, and they both come from the Romantic period. I think someone can fact check this, but I'm pretty sure I did my research right. Uh-huh. And so they're both inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy, right? Specifically the Inferno, the first bit,
right?
And
the hell part.
the hell part.
Yes.
It's, it makes sense. And so there's two of them. One is from 1835. It's the Francesca de Rimini by Ari Scheffer.
Okay.
It's a really old painting depicting Francesca and Paolo from the Divine Comedy. There's also Dante and Virgil in Hell, which is Dante and Virgil in Hell from the Divine Comedy. So it's cool. And that one's from 1850. It's by William Adolph Bouguereau, I think is his name.
Okay.
So these are like old paintings, but you can see them in Fallout 3 in this exhibit.
Yeah, by
awesome.
Fallout 3, by 2277, these paintings are like 400 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool. So it definitely makes it feel like, you're in a museum exhibit. There's not a whole lot else going on in there that isn't, hasn't been changed with time, especially after the war. But it's cool to come across these things. The entrance to the exhibit as well is really cool. It's, you walk through an archway.
Right.
Because it's within, the exhibition hall. But above it is this giant skull, which is like the size of the wall above it. It's massive. You should look up pictures if you haven't played it. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. And the concept art for this area, too, is really interesting if you want to go look at that. There's some cool stuff in there. So it's definitely very themed. This was made as a museum exhibit. It's supposed to grab your attention. And now, funnily enough, it's full of ghouls, which are quite zombie-like. So
quite zombie-like, yeah. Very cool. I'm setting up an image here for you guys so you can see the skull entrance. It'll pop up in a second once I get it set up on the OBS thing that runs the stuff. Go on.
So, so far it's like very hell themed. You see it from the outside. You see it from the things that it still has left over on the inside. It continues this theme with the people who live there. Not all of them. Some people have totally normal names. Some of them have lovely names. There's a lady named Tulip,
Right.
It's quite nice. But there's a few that have very specific thematic names for the area. So you encounter Cerberus, which is a Mr. Gutsy patrol guard that they use. And it's named, of course, after the giant three-headed dog from Greek mythology that protects the underworld.
Right. Right.
You get Charon, who is in Greek mythology, the person who paddles the boat across the river Styx that transports souls from the real world to the underworld.
Right.
And so in this case, Charon is a bouncer and a bodyguard.
Right. It basically decides who can come in and who can't. So
right. So this
topical.
Guy, his employer runs the Ninth Circle, which is also we'll get to how that connects to. It's located in the underworld. It's like a bar that Azrukal. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's a funky name. It's a lot of letters that I am not used to together.
Yeah.
But it's cool. And it's funny. I looked it up just to make sure that
Azrukal.
Yeah.
Azhrukal.
Yeah.
However that's pronounced.
And I looked it up to make sure that I wasn't missing anything with that name either. I was like, I don't want to just throw this in there and then like miss it if it means anything. But from what I could tell, it is not one of the thematic ones. But Karen works for him and honestly hates him. He's a terrible employer. And if you give him the chance, he'll kill him. But it's, he works for him and he lets people in and out of the Ninth Circle, which is neat. He's a bouncer. He also is a personal bodyguard for this man.
A man who he hates. Yeah.
A man who he hates.
Right.
He can become your companion as well, which is nice because you can take him away from this terrible man.
From the underworld.
From the underworld. But it's bittersweet because you learn the reason why he's been sticking by this guy who's so terrible to him is because he was brainwashed when he was younger to obey whoever he's serving, which is really sad. But it's kind of nice if you think you can take him out of this situation and provide like a better life for him, but it's still rough because like, is it really his choice? It's an interesting little moral dilemma in the game there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or is he just now obeying you?
Right.
It's an interesting dilemma. Yeah.
But it's fun though, because he has to kill the big guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of the fun of all these like Fallout dilemmas, right? Is that like sometimes the guy who, people just get what they deserve, and it's like, well, he deserved it anyway.
Right. Yeah. He's not a great dude. So yeah, so there's Karen, and then we have Dr. Barrows, who is the mayor, but there really isn't much need for a mayor in the Underworld. They kind of just sustain themselves. And so more importantly, he runs the hospital. He is their doctor. The hospital is called the Chop Shop.
Oh man.
Which is pretty funny. And Dr. Barrows' name, so like, we have things like wheelbarrows. We have, I think there's a kind of pig called a barrow. That's not where his name comes from. Barrows are also a word for the kinds of dirt mounds that you would find over prehistoric tombs and graves. So this is a reference to the dirt over a grave. Right. That's this man's name.
A place where you would bury somebody.
Right.
Or groups of people. Yeah.
Yeah, it was usually large groups of people with like trenches between.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's also Nurse Graves who works with him, and well, that one's a little easier. Her name is Graves.
Right.
So those are the ones that are like really thematic. I thought there's one that I added that was kind of funny. There's someone named Meat.
Uh-huh.
And this is a glowing one, which it's pretty crazy to see a non-feral glowing one.
Yes.
And
that is fairly rare in the series.
Meat actually works in the hospital with Dr. Barrows and Nurse Graves. And when Meat isn't working on hospital-related things, he's also doing research as to why ghouls turn into glowing ones, which is really interesting. And it's cool to see a character, who is going through that, doing the research to see why it happens in the first place. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. That's, I mean, we do research on ourselves as humans all the time. Like, why do we get cancer? Why do we age? Why do all of these questions about these meat suits that we are wearing through our lives and how they actually function, because it's funny because, life doesn't give you an instruction manual. You got to figure it out. And that's why science is a very important thing. And here you have a ghoul doing the same thing from the perspective of a ghoul, and the differences that the ghoul deals with being a ghoul rather than just a human.
Right. Yeah. So it's really neat. And it's cool to have someone that's, like going through it. It's a whole other thing for humans to be researching about ghouls, because for the most part, ghouls are scary, to people who don't know them. But this is an environment where he can do this work and this research in a safe space and actually like get down into it in the nitty gritty and not be afraid of it. It's not foreign to him. This is his life. Right. Which is really neat.
Yeah.
He's a cool character, but his name is Meat.
Yeah. I think that's great. That's a great name.
There are other people who live here as well as lots of people who live in the Underworld who are not named. But we mentioned last time in the Megaton episode, Moira Brown, who will move here if you blow up Megaton. Well, sometimes. So it turns out she only moves there if you haven't finished her Wasteland Survival Guide quest yet.
Oh. So if you have finished
if she doesn't die on the way there.
Oh, because she actually traverses from one place to another, right? So she could run into something happening in the world and get killed. These games are nuts. I love that. Like, you and I could play through the game, and because of slight differences like this, we could both be like, "Oh yeah, we blew up Megaton," and then I could be like, "Yeah, did you run into Ghoul Myra in the Underworld?" And you could be like, "No, I didn't find anybody. She wasn't in," and we'd be like, why is that? Why isn't she there? And it might just be that, one of us completed the quest and one of us didn't, or she got killed on the way. That is great. I love that those little details happen, especially because they make things happen differently when you don't necessarily expect it if you play through a second time.
Yeah. The chat just mentioned Riley, or it's spelled Reilly, I believe.
Yeah, like
she's
the city,
human.
Like the city, yeah.
Right. Or like O'Reilly Auto Parts. Is that spelled like that?
Name? Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, so I think it's her first name is just Riley. But she's a human, and she is in the hospital there. And you have the ability to help help aid her. And there's a few ways that she can turn out, where she can be crippled from like the waist down, or she can turn out totally fine. Just depends on how you like wake her up. I think she's in a coma. I'm not sure. But yeah, she runs a gang essentially. And if you do wake her up, you gain access to those quests, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's neat. And you can only start that by going to the Underworld and waking her up. But she's being cared for by ghouls, which is so cool because she's a human, but she's the only human there other than you.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned more about Moira Brown. I just wanted to say that though, because they brought up in the chat. So turns out Moira will make it to the Underworld, if all things go well, and you can continue it. If you already did the Wasteland Survival Guide quests and finished them, she just kind of hangs out around Megaton. And she doesn't really leave. You can go talk to her and it's all the same, but she'll just kind of just stay there. Like she doesn't have anything better to do, which is interesting. Yeah. And if she dies on the way to the Underworld, her locker from Megaton will end up like glitched into a wall in the museum. And you can still go to it and take her things out, but you have to find her dead body in the wasteland, wherever it is, and get her key first.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, just, some fun little things I learned.
Yeah. Yeah, those details are so interesting because they just cause your playthrough to be different, and you would never know until you play through again or talk to somebody else. And then they're just like, oh yeah, no, I couldn't open that locker. Where's the key? And they're like, you get it from Myra. And they're like, who? Where? Because things just worked out differently. Yeah.
So in terms of like interesting people, those are the ones that stand out to me. Mm-hmm. If anyone else can think of one that stands out also, I don't know. Those ones seem the most important. So they're interesting. There's also, there's people running every building there. There's tons of people, like I said, that are entirely unnamed. They're just like villagers.
Right.
But it's a whole community. There aren't only 5 people in there that I've named. There's more.
Yeah.
And you can see that too, that there's different locations within it. There's different shops, there's different places to go and visit and people to talk to within all of them. So I mentioned earlier the chop shop, right? That's the hospital.
The hospital, yeah.
There's the Ninth Circle, which I mentioned earlier, which is the bar. And it's named after the Ninth Circle of Hell from Dante's The Divine Inferno. Comedy. Yeah. Dante's Inferno, which is the first canticle of it, right? It's he has different concepts for what each level of hell is supposed to be like, and the Ninth Circle is the deepest one.
Yeah. It's an interesting read, but it's very topical to its time.
Yeah.
It's written as if when you watch a TV show and the TV show is very current, like watching something like South Park. Like South Park is so current to what's going on in the situation right at the moment with what's going on in the world, because they make episodes and they just put them out there immediately. And everything's referential of stuff happening now. It's kind of like that for that time in Italy. So when they talk about like in this circle of hell, this is where the politicians go, and then start naming politicians, it's because they were contemporary to the time. And they're the kinds of names that people who lived back then would have recognized. Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting read. The concepts, of course, last a lot longer than the details, because we're not going to necessarily know who those politicians were off the top of our head, but the concepts of like, this is why this ring is these people. And, I think what Ninth Circle is saved for people, if I recall, people who are untrustworthy, people who backstab other people.
Yeah.
And that is the worst of the sins, is for someone to think you're trustworthy and then for you to go against them.
Right, that's what Dante believed, was that was the worst. So there only are traitors. 9 circles, and he, it goes 1 through 9 through what he believed to be the least bad to like the worst sin, right?
Right.
And so in this 9th circle, you actually have the devil, or Lucifer himself.
Yeah, with 3 heads, and he's in the very, very epicenter of the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like the 3, was it like Judas is one of them, and then I read this in high school, so it's been a while, but yeah, it's interesting stuff. But it's definitely it makes sense for this to be the Underworld, for it to include the Ninth Circle as the name of the bar you go in.
Right, it's funny. I think it is kind of funny though to like Like, it's definitely like it's a joke, right? Because they don't want to, for such a safe, welcoming place for people who have been ostracized by the world. It's kind of ironic to name the place where they hang out the Ninth Circle, but like it feels like a good little inside joke with them.
Right. It's this thing that we do. It's the reason why we enjoy things like Halloween, is because not because we love evil things. It's because we are making fun of them. We're using them playfully. It's also why things like I don't know, goth and emo culture are considered, the kinds of concepts that make sense and are appealing to certain people and are welcoming and friendly towards other people who are into those kinds of concepts. It's all tied into this whole taking something that's dark and then making it friendly and familiar and bringing it into yourself, like claiming the darkness for yourself. It's also the reason why things like bikers are into looking tough and wearing leather and spikes and, like those kinds of things. It's that toughness that is cool. But for fellow bikers, that's warm and inviting. This is who we are.
And bikers, that's actually a funny topic because bikers usually like end up doing things like supporting minorities and communities. And
right. There are all these biker clubs that do amazing things for their communities. I mean, obviously there are some that are actual gangs that do terrible things, but there are so many that are just made up of good people who just enjoy the persona of riding a big motorcycle, looking like a badass, and kind of taking that concept for yourself. It's not, I don't know. It's something about claiming the darkness and turning it in on itself that is, it's appealing. It's a very human thing.
Yeah. So we have, those are the ones we talked about already, the Chop Shop and the Ninth Circle. There's two more like distinct areas of the Underworld. There's Underworld Outfitters, which is just their general store. It doesn't only sell apparel, it also has ammo and weapons and schematics for, I think, like what's the gun that shoots out like railroad spikes?
The railroad spike gun.
Whatever that is, you can buy
the schematics
the there. It's called like the railway rifle, something.
Gun, railroad gun. It's called the railway gun. That's what it's called. The
railway gun. Yeah. You can buy the schematics from Underworld Outfitters there. And actually, Tulip, that I mentioned earlier, she works here. This is her shop, which is fun. There's also Carol's Place, which is a restaurant and hotel. People who live in the city, some of them rent out like permanent rooms in the hotel. But you can stay there too, and you can buy food from there. And this all operates just like any other settlement, but it's ghouls, which is fun. And it's extra creepy because it's a Underworld exhibit. Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah, that is really cool. It's, it's interesting to me that you come across places like this, and yet there are so many ghouls out in the wasteland who either don't know it exists or haven't decided to move there. I think maybe we'll cover Tenpenny Tower next time, if you want to cover that, Lainey. That could be an interesting segue into the situation with the ghouls there, and why are they in that situation, and why haven't they moved to the Underworld? Like what's going on with that? What are they trying to do in that situation? What's Tenpenny trying to do in that situation? And the people who live in Tenpenny Tower and all, there's a whole lot of dynamics there as well between ghouls and humans and ghoul-human relations and how that can play out. It's interesting. You have to wonder, was that the cat? That's great. You have to wonder though, like why aren't there more ghouls here? Why haven't they all come from different parts of the wasteland and settled here? You would think that with a place like this, it would be very well known that if you were part of the ghoul community, you would know that this was a place, and you may not want to stay, in a human settlement being treated terribly when you could be living with other people of your kind and have a more, fair advantage on life. Overcrowding and stuff, Crystal says. Yeah, maybe. That's an interesting question. I haven't thought about that. I haven't really considered that. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Twitch chat and listeners, if you want to log into our Discord and chat with us about this, you're welcome to do that. The Robots Radio Discord, their link is in the show notes, or you can just search it on Google. It comes up. Any other last things to note before we move on, Lainey?
Well, I think just on the same topic, if we're speculating about why this might be that not all ghouls would want to be there, it's especially confusing in situations where the ghouls are straight up not being treated fairly. But for other ones, it might just be that, beyond factors like overcrowding and the other things you have to deal with at any settlement, a reason why they might not want to go to this one in particular could be that they don't want to live in a place that makes them feel like they stick out more, if that makes sense. So like for some people, it could be incredibly comforting to be just around people who are like you and who are going to accept you because they're in the same boat. And to some people, it might actually feel like they're ostracizing themselves even more. And that by being a ghoul in a quote unquote normal settlement that isn't just ghouls, even though you end up standing out because people might think you're weird or creepy or feral if you're not, or whatever it may be, you can still participate and try to earn your respect in that. You can still operate in the open and not feel like you're hiding.
Right. Yeah. Some minorities find it very important not to segregate themselves off from the rest of society in order to make it more common and in order to fight the good fight for other people who are having similar struggles as to them, to make it a more fair situation. So I could see that as well. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, interesting stuff. Well, I think it's time to move to the middle of the show. We're going to be back after that to both go over some interesting news and things that are coming out, and after the show to do our Are You Smarter Than Twitch Chat game show with Lainey as our main contestant. So we'll be right back.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable. And I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
Suffering from seasonal irritants? As the pollen count rises, support your immune system with Quicksilver Scientific Cystaid, a targeted blend of nutrients and botanicals designed to help maintain healthy histamine balance and everyday comfort. Quicksilver Scientific Cystaid works with your body's natural response to seasonal environmental challenges, so you can feel your best all season long. Get 10% off and free shipping at tryqs.com/podcast. Again, that's tryqs.com/podcast for 10% off and free shipping. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right. This is the middle of the show. This is the place where we thank our patrons. Patrons, thank you very much. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Lainey and I appreciate it more than you could ever know. This is a wonderful gift that you give us financially in order for us to be able to do this every week. And we really, really appreciate it. To give back to you, one of the things that we offer to our patrons is to join us once a month and talk about Fallout stuff. We will be doing that next week after all the holiday stuff. So this is Monday the 23rd. So on Monday the 30th, this coming week, that's when we're going to all get together. If you are interested in joining us and you want to up your Patreon funding, or if you'd like to sign up at all, you're welcome to jump in on that conversation. It is kind of a high point for both of us every month to talk with all of you live on the show. So come join us. If you want to sign up for any other levels, they're going to get all sorts of different rewards, including the extended version of the show where you get to listen to the quiz show at the end of each episode, which I'm going to be doing now. I believe you guys seem to like it. So I think I might tack that on at the end of each of our live shows so you guys can come hang out with us, play the trivia game with us in chat, compete against the person competing, and see if you can't fool them in order to win the prizes yourself. And we've got hundreds of dollars worth of prizes out there, including t-shirts and gift cards and video game keys and all sorts of stuff. So come hang out with us for that after the live show every week. All right. Thanks again, Patreons. Patrons. Man, words are hard. All right, let's move on to the rest of the show.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
Lainey, thanks for taking us on the journey to the Underworld. That is bringing back lots of memories for me. This was definitely a really cool place to visit. The more we dig into these locations in Fallout 3, the more I want to go back and play it because it's been so long.
That's what I've been thinking all day.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, the Brotherhood of Steel stuff. Steel Dawn is about to launch for 76. So I'm going to be wanting to play that. There's Cyberpunk coming out. There's still stuff happening in Elder Scrolls Online that I haven't finished yet. There's all sorts of things. And I just don't have enough time to play everything. So I have my own limitations with that. So, this part of the show, one of the things I want to do is start noting some of the more interesting bits of news that may not get covered every week. And in order to just give you guys more content and the second half of this show and to, help you stay in the know, especially with Fallout 76, because it's been 2 years now. This game is not going away. It only gets better. They're releasing more content. They now have the Steel Dawn update coming out in like a week. It'll be out on the 1st. We'll have more Brotherhood in 76, and they put out recently a lore video explaining why the Brotherhood makes sense in Appalachia, why it makes sense in 76. And I watched through the whole thing. Guys, if you've been tuning into this show and you've been listening to the Brotherhood of Steel episodes about Taggarty and Maxon and the stuff going on in 76, then you are up to speed because their video basically summarized the same things that we've been talking about on this show for months and months and months. So that's exciting. It's exciting to get a little bit of a pat on the back and be like, yeah, we're getting it right. But it's really cool that like we're up to speed on this stuff. So I can't wait for the new expansion in order to find out what else is going on with this. Lainey, did you get a chance to check out that video? Have you had a chance to look at that yet?
No, I haven't.
So yeah, look it up. It's up on YouTube. Just search Brotherhood of Steel Appalachia lore, something like that. You'll see there's an official video
I'll find it.
The Bethesda site. Yeah, you can go find it. It's not hard to find. Now, in similar news, one of the things that you absolutely need to be aware of right now is that Jeff Gardner, the project lead on Fallout 76, did an interview for a German website called MeinMMO, MeinMMO. And this has been translated into English, which is why I'm able to report on it here. But there are some details that came out in this that are super exciting for the next year. So I'm just going to go through a list of these and cover them very briefly. I want to give you guys a quick update on what was mentioned and what we might expect for 2021. So first point, the DLCs for Fallout 76 are going to continue to be free. This is amazing. They are going to continue to make free content for Fallout 76. And on top of that, that's especially amazing because we're coming up on Black Friday sales, and there are sales right now or coming up this week for as low as like $10. You might be able to get Fallout 76 on PlayStation 4 for $10. I've seen it on Green Man Gaming now, which we have a code that you can use to get even more of a discount for $13. So check the links in the show notes for that. So free content. More free content coming through 2021. Awesome news. Awesome news. Also, he confirmed that mods are still going to be a thing. Now, not a whole lot more detail about that, but confirmation from a project lead that they haven't forgotten modding and that modding will continue to be a thing is a big deal. Hopefully we'll be able to implement modding and using that on our own servers and those kinds of things. That's some of my expectations for that. Also, more allies, including NPCs, will be new and will be able to be included at your camp. So in the potential future, this could mean that you can have more than just one ally at your camp at a time. You can have a little community of people, maybe. Interesting. And over the summer, they leaked some things on the store that referenced pets, some pet commands or emotes got leaked out. Well, it looks like Jeff Gardner has officially confirmed that pets will be available, most likely in 2021. So now you can have a pet at your camp. Lainey, you can have a cat.
Oh
I can have a dog because I'm not going to have a cat. But like Fallout pets, that's really cool. Maybe you can have like a rad scorpion. Maybe you can get like rare pets from the wasteland. Yeah, mud crabs. Holy crap, that sounds amazing. Also, next major point here, there will be more story bits and quests, more dialogue, and more meaningful choices. So we know that they're releasing Steel Dawn. We know that that is the beginning of stuff going on with the Brotherhood that is going to include more dialogue, more meaningful choices, and a continuing focus on story and character. So that's awesome. They're going to continue that through 2021. Also, on the more mechanical side of things, there will be more improvements to legendary items. Now, this was kind of talked around vaguely in the interview. This could mean not only improvements to the items in the game to make sure that the effects work right, or that you're getting the most balanced experience across different kinds of weapons, but this also could mean that there will be opportunities to get weapons with more star ratings, because we have star ratings up to 5, but most of the time we're only getting 3-star weapons. So maybe that will be rolled out in the next year. There's some speculation around that. And the franchise characters from the rest of the series may be returning in some way or referenced in some way through future characters. One of the examples that he threw out there that he didn't necessarily confirm, but he said something to the tune of like, wouldn't it be interesting if you were able to come across Preston Garvey's grandfather? That would be cool. Like the past ancestors of other characters who show up in the other games. What were they doing? How were they surviving in the wasteland for the next 200 years? What was going on with that? What about ghouls that were around during the events of Fallout 76 that survive into Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas? That could be really, really cool. So yeah, more settlements to save. What if Preston Garvey's grandfather is like, well, I've got a settlement for you to save. And you're like, no more. So very, very cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff. Lots of exciting things for 2021 on the horizon. So stay tuned for more information on that. Stay plugged into stuff, and hopefully we'll get some clarity on some of the stuff, and I'll be able to go over that on a future episode of the Fallout Lorecast. So that's the big deals right now. If you haven't picked up Fallout 76, what the heck are you doing? The game has been improving. It is amazing at this point. And for something like 10 or 13 bucks, holy crap, that's a huge deal. There's a ton of content. 10 or 13 bucks, even if you're not going to get Fallout first. Yeah, just pick it up and play it for a few months. You'll just binge all the content, do all the cool stuff. Join us in game when we play. Go pick it up. 10 or 13 bucks. It's like Christmas present for yourself or somebody else that you know. Go do it. Awesome stuff. Also, I noticed Loot Crate's having a bunch of sales, including sales on the Fallout crates and those kinds of things. So go check that out as well if you're into Fallout stuff. All right, that is the news for this week and the quick update. Lainey, anything else going on? Have you had a chance to dive back into Fallout? I know you've been streaming and things. What else have you been doing?
Yeah, I played some recently, but mostly what did I do? I worked my camps more, and I've been very inspired by other people's camps in the Robots Radio community. I've been looking at other people's camps, and I've been like, ooh, you guys are doing good.
People are so much more creative with their camps than I am. I need to focus on this. This needs to be something that I dig into once the expansion comes out and you can have your own little settlements and all that. I'll be working on that. I'll be working on that. Yeah, that's on my list. I dove back in recently today and went on my adventure in the Wasteland as Captain Robots, and that'll be coming out later this week on the podcast feed. So if you didn't catch it live on Twitch, you can always catch it on the podcast feed and listen to the adventures. Lots of requests for jumping back into that. So I'm excited to do that again. I plan to at least to do that once a week during the day sometime, maybe even while I'm walking on my treadmill. We'll figure it out. So that's what I got going on. Anything else happening out there?
I mean, Envy Courier just mentioned Dark Souls. We streamed Dark Souls today, but normally we do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but we missed this past Saturday. We've been averaging like one boss a stream. Yeah. Which has been pretty cool.
That's pretty solid.
I just rang the second bell of whatever.
The second bell of whatever. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yes.
The bell of awakening.
I don't
Corey's
know. I don't know.
gonna be so
It's been
disappointed
so
in me.
long. It's been so long since I've even thought about this at all.
But yeah, this is my first. It's my first playthrough of it, and we're pretty far in at this point, which is exciting. So yeah, we did that today. But yeah, I don't know. I played some more 76. I did some of the where you get to meet the overseer. I did some of that stuff, which is cool. I'm trying to think of anything else going on. Not really. I stream like 5+ days a week.
Yeah, that's
so you guys
great.
can catch me there.
That's great. Yeah, go check out Lainey's streams. It's always a fun time. She's always playing something cool, and the community's awesome. You guys, the community that's migrated over there from Robots Radio, you guys are great. Lainey's got some of her own community she's building, and some friends that she's hanging out with. Everybody just needs to be hanging out, having a good time playing Fallout. Like, there's no reason not to.
It's so fun.
It's too good. It's too good. It's so fun. So come join us. We'd love to see you guys. All right, guys. Well, I think that does it for this episode of the show. You know how to get a hold of us. Follow us online on Twitter. Look up Neospandora. Look up Robots_Radio. Look up the Fallout Lorecast, all of that stuff. And come chat with us on the Discord. We'd love to hear from you guys. And if you are here during the live show, chat. Make sure you stay tuned. We are not going anywhere. We will be seeing if Lainey is smarter than Twitch chat. Fallout Megaton Edition. Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys. Until next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland. We'll see you later. To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Reach out to me on Twitter at robots_radio. Check out the Robots Radio Rocket Club, where you can join me and a bunch of our other creators creating your podcast, starting a new podcast, or helping your current podcast grow. There's more information about that on robotsradio.net as well. And you can always talk with us and the entire community, over 2,000 people on the Robots Radio Discord. Come join us. We'd love to chat with you. See you guys next time.